Hello, fabulous superstar Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2025. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. For most of this month, there is a party that is going on in a part of the sky for you that has to do with self-love and self-esteem. And it has to do with money you earn and money that you spend. And that's where a lot of focus is. However, the energies start to shift and they start to move back around and back towards your sign. And that move starts to take precedence that much more as we get to the very end of the month and into next month as well. Next month, there is a huge party happening in your sky. We've got Venus, Mercury, the North Node, Saturn, all close together in the sky. It is a time of consequence and a time of karmic alignment for you. I'll have a lot more to say about that when we get to next month. And part of that I have spoken about in the Venus retrograde special horoscope that's on my site and on the Superstar space. I will link to that below. But outside from that, we are going to talk about it as we go along right here on YouTube. It is now, though, and especially as we're starting this month, that we have got these important energies at play. You'll start to glimpse the karmicness of this time because at the beginning of the month, we get Mercury in your sign entering shadow hand in hand with the North Node, representing a key characteristic of this moment. It is Venus that goes retrograde at the very start of the month. And at this point, Venus is no longer in your sign, but will return there in the last days of this month. And I'll speak about that more when we get to the love portion of the video, but suffice it to say, this meeting at the start of the month of Mercury and the North Node, we're going to get more of that next month. And so this will start providing you with important glimpses into what is ahead, what soul contracts are awakening for you, and whom it is that you are becoming. But outside of that, yeah, so we've got a party going on, money focus taking place, but we've got an energy that's also somewhat of an anomaly, and that is smack dab in the middle of the month, on the 14th of the month. We are going to have a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse in your opposite sign. And this speaks to partnerships of all kinds and one-on-one alliances with other people. Business partners and professional alliances are covered here. This eclipse is speaking with Saturn across the sky, and that is the tricky part of this energy because that can feel restrictive, stressful, limiting, and it's coming from outside of you. And this is a lunar eclipse in a partnership part of the sky. I feel like there's going to be some difficult understanding around a key partner in your life as to what they can do, the limits of what they can do, and the truth of how much they either add or don't add to shared prosperity. There's a different way of approaching them and interacting with them that could find you at this time as well. But also possible is rather suddenly, it might feel like a alliance in your life leaves, they exit. And in some cases, that might feel rather dramatic. But here's the thing, Uranus is speaking in supreme harmony with this eclipse. I love this energy for you. Both planets, both the eclipse and having Uranus in social parts of the sky means that you are communicating and talking with others. And this becomes part of what helps change the vibration, turn it into something very fortunate. We've also got Mars speaking in harmony with this eclipse, and that is empowerment all around. Your heart feels that much more awake and that much more focused on what it is that you feel called to do, and how people support that or don't. Well, the right people absolutely will cheer you on and encourage you on. They're going to present themselves to you at this time as well. So yes, mid-month, we're focusing on another person, and then we come back to self-love, self-esteem, and money matters. That's going to be important. And The day after the lunar eclipse in the middle of the month, on the 15th of the month, we're going to have Mercury standing still in the sky and officially going retro. Now, Mercury will stand still at what astrologers call 9 degrees of Aries. We have 12 signs in the zodiac. Each sign has 30 degrees. 360 degrees goes all the way around the zodiac. And out of the whole 360 degrees, the ninth degree, 9 of Aries, is what is lit up with Mercury station. And we navigate forward, and it is going to be on the 29th of the month that we are going to have a solar eclipse, which is also at 9 degrees of Aries. I think that this is remarkable. This is surprising energy to me, because as much as solar eclipses can bring with them brand new beginnings, some of which take us by surprise, some of which feel like they come out of nowhere, whatever takes place may hearken to or connect to what was happening in the middle of the month immediately following the first eclipse. These are energies to me of prosperity. With Mercury retrograde, it is financial opportunities you thought were gone might come back around. But it's also ideas that you might be returning to about what you can do to create more prosperity for yourself. But what we also have here is the money focus is also about having an understanding of the value that you give, the value you give to what you give to the universe, how the universe responds to that, the value you give to the possessions and the ways in which you spend and what you take on. This is part of what's illuminated for you now, and part of what you'll be reflecting on more deeply as part of the wisdom of this larger transit of this Mercury retrograde season. Now, it is that eclipse that we have at the end of the month on the 29th that is going to be speaking in harmony with Jupiter. Jupiter is at the foundation of your chart. And to me, this suggests that home-based businesses or working from home can be especially prosperous for you. It is also this eclipse that is speaking in harmony with Pluto, which is in the sign before yours. This is karmic blessings, new financial opportunities, new self-love perspectives that seemingly come out of nowhere. It is as if there are forces working on your behalf without your knowledge that come together to make financial opportunity and prosperity possible for you now. We have another important energy playing out, especially for you, and this to me is huge. Of all the energies I've talked about, and many of them rather significant, it is going to be on the 30th of the month that Neptune will leave your sign until the 22nd of October, at which time Neptune will re-enter your sign, wrap up some loose ends, and then leave in time for Valentine's Day of 2026, not to return very likely in your lifetime. Since 2012, you've had Neptune moving through your sign. And this larger transit, normally Neptune spends about 13, 14 years moving through a given sign and a different area of life. Well, with Neptune in your sign, it's about you. And Neptune can bring with it uncertainty, illusion, but also mysticism and a more spiritual approach. But it can also contribute to a lack of connection to a more grounded perspective, even when it's really, in fact, even when it's sorely needed, it may feel like it is elusive. But for all that, we get here this very valuable energy of a break from this. And that gives you perspective. That shows you how different you might see yourself, how different you might feel, how different you might feel present for you, for your life, and how different you come to understand your identity as a result of this move. The larger trend with this Neptune transit is to spiritualize your finances, to align your finances with what feels like purpose to you. what feels like a soul calling to you. And when you do that, you'll find finances stabilize throughout this transit. But if you aren't always doing that, well, this can be some financial uncertainty. The tides can come in abundance, but they can go out as well. This isn't a time for stability, but rather it is a time of faith. It is a time of trust that everything you need and the opportunities you need to create more prosperity will find you, and they absolutely will. That's a nice long lesson you'll be engaged in for a good 13 years to come. I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. And I spoke about it in the Decade Ahead video horoscope, the special horoscope over on my website as well. And we've got some previews here on YouTube. I'll again try to remember to link to those below. But yeah, this is a huge collective move of Neptune leaving your sign. But for you, because you are a Pisces, because this is Neptune leaving your sign, it ends up being something that defines you very likely for the rest of the year. That when Neptune comes back and you sense that contrast, you'll be that much more available and open to knowing that you are stepping into a brand new cycle of life in a very big way once we step into a brand new year. Where it comes to matters of love, Venus goes retrograde at the start of the month, and love and self-love become intimately tied. On the 28th of the month, Venus retrogrades back into your sign and immediately connects with Neptune. And this is a big romantic watershed moment. There are likely going to be tears, a strong feeling of love, feelings of forgiveness that might be there. But here's the thing, there's a lot of fantasy, there's a lot of sentimentality, not a lot of reality. And what I mean is you might take things on as your fault that are not. You might believe things that ultimately are illusionary or maybe even deception. I'm sorry to say, but it does happen. Or it might be you that's not able to be straightforward and honest with yourself at this time. But for all that, so much of the energy this month says that you are moving in a direction of bringing love to you, strengthening self-love, and that can only benefit where you are romantically as well, especially around the 21st when we get this beautiful alignment between Pluto and Venus. That is some super sultry energy, and it is rooted in how good you feel about you. Well, you're able to love in accordance. And so I say all this because I had to be sure to talk about Venus retrograde season, and I will continue to. However, if I had to choose one thing that I thought was going to be really important in the context of love for you, it has to be that eclipse in the middle of the month in your opposite sign. It is one of the more important moments in love for the Pisces out there for this year. It is a powerful moment of a chapter closing. This could be a past situation that you finally feel something shift within you so that it is behind you. This can be a more personal understanding of what partnership is and what is not for you. This could be putting a difficult situation between you and another person behind you so you can move forward with that much more unity and peace, but it can also be going a whole other way. There's not a lot of middle ground, but Venus is retrograde, and breakups that happen tend to not stay broken up. And if in any way the contemplation is around love and self-love being connected, well, that is going to be seen differently in some way once we navigate into the second part of April and Venus direct. So where it comes to matters of love, for those of you open to meeting someone new, that eclipse in the middle of the month, well, when we have such strong lunar energy in your opposite sign, like a total lunar eclipse, yeah, that tends to bring someone up. Someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. You may have a very fated moment with another person, and it's a breakthrough. It might be hard. It might be that you're very aware of the limits of what you can do, what you can feel. And yet there's also this very empowered sense of understanding of what kind of partnership you're actually wanting to move towards. Someone will be there to help you to understand that. Remember, yes, there's serious restrictive energy with Saturn, but there's also lightness and freedom and luck and fun. There's sheer fun, especially with Uranus and especially with Mars as well. Very sexy vibrations at play with new people you meet. For those of you just starting to date someone, this can be a very all or nothing energy. And just when you think it is, it might not be because Venus is retrograde. But for all that, know that this is a turning point. And for some, it's going to be, wow, I really don't want to be around this person at all. I'm going a whole other way. And that's part of the lightness of being you find. But for others, it's going to be a sense of wanting this to be more, wanting this to move towards partnership, and facing what that might be for you might be part of your learning at this time. But for all that, we get here that Venus retrograde. Your answers ultimately about whether or not there's someone to navigate forward with, it's going to be rooted in part of seeing some truth of this person that maybe you hadn't acknowledged as of yet. But what does that mean for you? What brought you to this moment? What are you going to do about it next? I think you may make a choice in a moment, but also once we get to Venus direct next month, you might just see what's happening now differently. It might be that you see things were a lot worse and you made the right choice going another way. It might be you realize you made the right choice sticking it out, but it could also be that you feel maybe you didn't meet the right choice. And if that's the case, you will get another chance. That's the thing with Venus retrograde seasons. What is for you with that karmic doorway opening next month, powerfully so, will be for you. And for those of you in an established bond, well, look, if your relationship is one that feels really good, for the most part, for the overwhelming majority of Pisceans, this energy is going to be one where there might be a moment of seriousness, but it gives way to lovely developments that bond the two of you closer together. It is a sense of putting some challenge behind the two of you so that you can move in directions that feel more heart connected, lighter, that feel like there's so much to look forward to, and there absolutely is. There will be a small percent out there, if you've felt for a while that you might not be in the right relationship for you, you're going to get some different perspectives here. And some of them are going to be a big dose of seeing things in a harsh light of truth. This is gathering experience. Now, what you're going to do about it, whether or not that means you stay or you go, is this going to be a deal breaker moment? Well, just when you think you know, you really might not. So pace yourself and be yourself, knowing that more has yet to be revealed, and we get you later into next month and everything just might look different now. And that's when your choices and what the choice that is right for you is feels a lot clearer. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a valuable and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say well, look, we've got a party going on in a prosperity part of your sky. And overall, I think that this is some lovely energy. I am going to choose the energy of the solar eclipse towards the end of the month because I think that's going to bring with it opportunities to celebrate whatever it is that prosperity and abundance are for you. You are making power moves at this time, moving towards a sense of understanding the value that you bring. And it's a game changer, aligning you with more abundance than you knew before. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes for each and every sign. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com or thefutureismagical.com. Links in the description below. And new programs are starting this month over at synchronicityuniversity.com as we're finishing off February. You can still choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class to learn from some of the most celebrated astrologers alive today. Learn more and sign up now. Links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.